everyone. Welcome back to Actual English. My name is Jennifer Clyde. It is now time for lesson 77, and today let's talk about jobs, job opportunities, occupations, what you do for a living. You can talk about full-time jobs and also part-time jobs, and we've got lots of information waiting for you today. So before we begin, let me tell you about myself. What kinds of jobs did I have? I did not really have that many jobs, but since I am a freelancer, I do a number of different kinds of jobs. But as a college student, I did work at a restaurant. I was the cashier. And what else did I do? I also waited some tables at a restaurant for a short while. Okay, that's also in our actual talk conversation, so let's begin by listening.
So Joanne, you're a freelancer, so you've had several different jobs.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of interesting things have you done in your life?
In my life, I haven't had a chance to do anything interesting per se, but I did see an article recently about some odd jobs, and that got me thinking, am I happy in my current job? I mean, this article was about, I think it was released by NASA.
Yeah.
And they're literally looking for couch potatoes.
Couch potatoes.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are a lot of takers.
Well, the thing is, though, I think this is an experiment that is an ongoing experiment. It goes on for about 7 weeks, and you cannot leave the bed.
That's not a couch.
I mean, you have to be in bed in an slightly inclined position, but you cannot remove yourself from the bed. You have to eat, you have to sleep, watch TV, do everything.
It doesn't
in
sound
bed.
like a job. Well,
Apparently
what
it
other
is a
jobs
job.
have you had, though?
I mean, I've had my fair share. When I was younger, I did the odd waitressing job, and then I moved on to better restaurants. I did a little bit of bartending. And then I moved on to your more receptionist type jobs at a law firm. And then finally, I worked at an obstetrician gynecologist. And
Okay.
I met a lot of expecting mothers, and that was a very nice experience.
Really?
Yeah. I'm sure you've had a lot of jobs in your lifetime.
I've had tons. I've gone the gamut from bartender and waiter. I've waited tables in many
We've all
places.
been through that.
Yeah, in college, it's a great way to pay for things. I've been a dance instructor. I've been a massage therapist.
Okay, wait there. Dance instructor?
Yeah.
What kind of dancing?
I taught ballroom and Latin dance. And then I worked at an Irish pub in Germany. That's probably my oddest job ever.
Why is that?
Well, I was just traveling and I ran out of money, so I walked into an Irish pub and said, "Hey, I need a job."
And they hired you?
Yeah, he said, "Start at 6."
That's interesting.
Yeah, I want to go to an Irish pub though. Let's go.
Okay, did you enjoy today's actual talk conversation? We've heard some interesting things. Well, Joanne actually mentioned something that was released by NASA. NASA라고 하죠. In English or American English, we usually say NASA. NASA. Anyway, she's mentioned something quite interesting, how they are looking for people to do an odd job. A very strange, unusual job. Basically, you eat and do everything in bed. They also talked about the kinds of experiences they had in jobs, what kinds of jobs they had in the past. Joanne mentioned that she did some waitressing. And what about Peter? He did mention a whole lot of things, so let's check it all out together. Let's take it line by line. Okay, first of all, Peter says, so Joanne, you're a freelancer. We all know what a freelancer is. Freelancer, right? The pronunciation should be freelancer where the stress goes on the first syllable. So in this case, this would be a noun, okay? So, say for example, I actually am a freelancer, which means I don't work at one set company. I have not signed a contract with a certain company. So I basically freelance. 자, 그럴 때는 verb, 동사로도 쓸 수 있죠. So I can say, I freelance as a freelancer, which means I have not signed a contract with a company. I don't have a full-time job. I work at one place, move around to another place, and work at different companies. I'm sure you know what it means. Anyhow, so he says you're a freelancer, so you've had several different jobs, he asks. Okay. Of course, Joanne says, meaning yes. Now he asks, what kind of interesting things have you done in your life? Okay, so basically he's asking her about her job experiences. Okay, let's check out what she said. Well, she says, I haven't had a chance to do anything interesting. Okay, let's take it up here. I haven't, had a chance or had the chance, we'll practice that pattern later on, to do anything interesting. In other words, she's saying that she has not had the opportunity to do anything interesting. She has not had any interesting jobs so far. And then she says per se, okay, per se. Now, per se is used in all different kinds of situations. It's quite confusing because per se can actually have many different meanings because nowadays it's used in many different situations. It basically, in the dictionary, it means in itself, solely. We're talking about the true definition of something, but sometimes per se is just used in a sentence to kind of pause, okay? And it could mean such as, for example. Anyhow, she says, but I did see an article recently about. The article was about some odd jobs. Odd, meaning strange jobs. And then she says, and that got me thinking. 생각을 하게 만들었어요. Am I happy in my current job? Am I happy in my current job? Am I happy with my current job? That's also possible. So when she read this article about this odd job, she asked herself, she thought to herself, am I happy with my current job? Okay, or am I happy in my current job? And then she mentioned something about how it was released, meaning we're talking about the article was released by NASA. Now she says, and they meaning NASA, they're looking for who? Couch potatoes. What is a couch potato? Or what are couch potatoes? We all know what a couch is. It's like a sofa. Couchi, sofa, right? Potato. That's right. It's 감자 in Korean. So imagine a sofa or a couch and a potato sitting on the couch. Now, is the potato active? Do you see the potato moving around or is it just there, comfortably sitting on the sofa or the couch? That's right. A couch potato is a person that is very lazy. So in other words, a couch potato is a lazy person that usually spends time or wastes time sitting on the couch or the sofa just watching TV and doing nothing else, okay? That is what we call a couch potato. Are you a couch potato? I sometimes am. Anyhow, she says they're looking for couch potatoes. Not one, but several. Plural. And then, well, I think this is an ongoing experiment. Ongoing meaning continuing. It's continuing on and on and on. It goes on, meaning it continues for about 7 weeks. And you cannot leave the bed, okay? And then he says, well, that's not a couch. If you can't leave the bed, why are they looking for couch potatoes? Okay, well, she explains. She says, you have to be in bed in a slightly inclined position. 자, for example, when you say I'm in bed, what does it mean? It means that you are lying in bed, okay? We normally don't say lie on the bed, but usually if you're in the bed with your blanket over you, okay, you would say you are in bed. So you have to be in bed, okay, in a slightly inclined position. 약간 뒤로 젖혀진, 그렇죠. 그런 position이죠. And you cannot remove yourself from the bed, meaning you have to stay in bed. Okay, here we go. You have to eat. You have to sleep. You have to watch TV, and you have to do everything in bed, okay? So everything has to be done in bed. You cannot leave your bed. And that is what they are looking for, okay? People that are willing to do this. And yeah, Peter says, it doesn't sound like a job. It doesn't sound like a job. What types of jobs have you had, though? So we're talking about the past. Joanne says, I've had my fair share. If somebody says, I've had my fair share, or I've had my fair share of something, it means that you had an appropriate amount or quantity or a number of something. Not many. Sometimes it is used to express many, many, lots of, but it's a lot softer than that, okay? So fair share means about the same number as other people, an average number, okay? But it also can mean lots of. So she's saying, I've had my fair share, meaning I've had several jobs. I've had some jobs. When I was younger, I did the odd waitressing job. We'll take a look at that pattern later on. So you can do a certain job. Then I moved on to better restaurants, did a bit of bartending. It's also used in this pattern as well. Do a little bit of, or do something in the ing form. So simply put, she was a waitress. She did a waitressing job, and she did a little bit of bartending, which means she was a bartender for a short while. And then I moved on to receptionist type jobs, okay, at a law firm. And then finally, at last, I worked at an obstetrician gynecologist. Sometimes it's just called a gynecologist since it's difficult to pronounce, so we often just say gynecologist. It is a hospital for women especially. Men don't go to the gynecologist, okay? All right, moving on. Now, Peter understands, okay, and then Joanne continues. And I met a lot of expecting mothers. She's talking about when she worked at the gynecologist. Remember I said women usually go? Okay, especially when women are pregnant, they go to the gynecologist. So she's saying, I met a lot of women, but they are mothers. Expecting mothers meaning they are soon to have babies. They're pregnant women. And that was a very nice experience. I'm sure you've had a lot of jobs in your lifetime, okay? Peter says, I've had tons, okay? Tons means many, many, lots of. I've gone the gamut from bartender and waiter. Remember this word, gamut, gamut. See, G-A-M-U-T, it's pronounced gamut. It means a whole range of, from A all the way to Z, for example. So he's saying, I've done everything. I've had all different kinds of jobs. I've gone the gamut from bartender to waiter. I've waited tables. Waiters wait tables. They also take your orders. In many places, in college. It's a great way to pay for things. That's right. You earn money, you save money, and pay for things. And then he says, I've been a dance instructor. I've been a massage therapist. Okay, interesting. So Joanne says, okay, wait a minute. A dance instructor? Oh, what kind of dancing? Let's find out. He says, I taught ballroom and Latin dance. Now he's talking about how he worked as a teacher, for example. He taught ballroom and Latin dance. And then I worked in or at an Irish pub in Germany. That's probably my oddest job. Remember? Odd job? Oddest. Okay, we're talking about the most something, right? The oddest job, meaning the strangest job ever. Of course, I was curious too, right? You were curious too. Joanne asks, why is that? Well, I was just traveling and ran out of money. So he had no money left. So he walked into an Irish pub and said, hey, I need a job. And then he says, yeah. The guy said, or the owner of the Irish pub said, start at 6. And then, of course, Joanne says, that's interesting. That's true, especially because Peter was in Germany and he was traveling. He wasn't living in Germany, he was just there traveling, and then he ran out of money. So since he needed money, he walked into an Irish pub and said, I need a job. Can you give me a job? And they hired him. So he got a job, and I guess he worked there for a while and earned some money. Okay, that is a wrap for today's actual talk, everyone. Take a listen to it one more time.
So Joanne, you're a freelancer, so you've had several different jobs.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of interesting things have you done in your life?
In my life, I haven't had a chance to do anything interesting per se, but I did see an article recently about some odd jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And that got me thinking, am I happy in my current job? I mean, this article was about, I think it was released by NASA.
Yeah.
And they're literally looking for couch potatoes.
Couch potatoes.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are a lot of takers.
Well, the thing is, though, I think this is an experiment that is an ongoing experiment. It goes on for about 7 weeks, and you cannot leave the bed.
That's not a couch.
I mean, you have to be in bed in an slightly inclined position, but you cannot remove yourself from the bed. You have to eat, you have to sleep, watch TV, do everything.
It doesn't
in
sound
bed.
like a job. Well,
Apparently
what
it
other
is a
jobs
job.
have you had, though?
I mean, I've had my fair share. When I was younger, I did the odd waitressing job, and then I moved on to better restaurants. I did a little bit of bartending. And then I moved on to your more receptionist type jobs at a law firm. And then finally, I worked at an obstetrician gynecologist. And
Okay.
I met a lot of expecting mothers, and that was a very nice experience.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure you've had a lot of jobs in your lifetime.
I've had tons. I've gone the gamut from bartender and waiter. I've waited tables in
We've
many
all
places.
been through that.
Yeah, in college, it's a great way to pay for things. I've been a dance instructor. I've been a massage therapist.
Okay, wait there. Dance instructor?
Yeah.
What kind of dancing?
I taught ballroom and Latin dance. And then I worked at an Irish pub in Germany. That's probably my oddest job ever.
Why is that?
Well, I was just traveling and I ran out of money, so I walked into an Irish pub and said, "Hey, I need a job."
And they hired you?
Yeah, he said, "Start at 6."
That's interesting.
Yeah, I want to go to an Irish pub though. Let's go.
Did you enjoy the actual talk conversation? I hope you had a better time understanding it. Now it's time for actual expressions. We've got some vocab words for you, and today we have 4 wonderful patterns waiting for you. Let's check out the words here. We've got 3 for you. Remember, per se. I did mention that per se is used nowadays in many different situations. But yeah, take a look at these synonyms. Dictionary-wise, it says intrinsically, alone, or especially as such, okay? But I would say, generally speaking, is also another definition of per se, and it's often also used in a sentence to kind of pause, okay? Keep that in mind. It's per se. What about couch potato? Remember what it means? Couch potato is a lazy person, also called a lounger, sofa spud, or that's the easiest one, lazy person, 게으른 사람. And ongoing. Ongoing means continuing, so keep these words in mind as well, okay? All right, let's move on to some more. We've got one's fair share and also therapist. Remember, Joanne was talking about how she had her fair share of jobs. So fair share means reasonable number or an amount or a portion and etc. So keep in mind, if somebody says, I've had my fair share, it means that he or she has had number, amount, or portion that anyone else probably has, like an average number, especially when there is no definite number. But you want to mention more than a few, several, you can use fair share. For example, you can ask somebody, maybe on a first date, so have you had many girlfriends or boyfriends? Of course, you wouldn't ask that question, but if you did, I guess you can say, well, I've had my fair share of girlfriends. That means several. more than just a few, okay? Sometimes it could mean many, so keep that in mind, okay? And finally, we've got therapist, okay? Peter was talking about how he once worked as a massage therapist. Just to make sure you pronounce the word correctly, it's not therapy, it's th, therapist. And the P is more of a B sound, okay? Let's try it 2 times. Therapist. Good job. Okay, now let's move on to our patterns for the day. The first one is have a or have the chance to verb. Let's check out some sample sentences. I had a chance to work at a hip French restaurant. This is a wonderful way to talk about your experience when you want to talk about your past job experiences. You work at a certain place. The word hip here is just very stylish, okay? A very popular, a very stylish French restaurant. Okay, the next sample sentence is, I hope I have the chance to work with you in the future. Okay? Work with somebody. 너와 함께 일을 할 수 있는 기회가 생겼으면 한다. So you're talking about your hope for the future. Let's try it together. I hope I have the chance to work with you in the future. Good job. I haven't had the chance to find the perfect job yet. Not yet. I guess you're still looking. So if somebody asks you, hey, so do you enjoy your job? You can say, well, I have not. I haven't had the chance to find the perfect job for me yet. I have not been entirely happy with all of my jobs. Okay, be happy in or be happy at one's so-and-so. I'm happy in my current job. This was a question that Joanne asked herself. Am I happy in my current job? Okay. I'm happy in my current job. I'm satisfied with my job, in other words. What about this one? I'm happy at EBS. This could be omitted. For example, if I say I'm happy at EBS, it means that I am happy to work at EBS. Okay, so make use of this pattern as well. It's very simple and very useful. Okay, now let's move on to do something in bed. NASA was looking for people for a very odd job where they had to do everything in bed, right? I love to read in bed. Okay, read in bed. That means to stay in bed comfortably, just relax and read. What about this one? I was never allowed to eat in bed. My mom always told me, don't eat in bed, don't eat in bed. In that case, you can say, I was never allowed to eat in bed. People say, never smoke in bed, right? Okay. And finally, our last pattern is do a certain job or do plus verb form with the ing, okay? We're talking about doing a job, okay? Having a certain job. I just started doing a part-time job at a cafe. I just started doing a part-time job at a cafe. So instead of using the word working, you can use the verb do. I just started doing a part-time job at a cafe. And here we go with our final sentence. I did. Let's take it into the past. I did some tutoring about a year ago. Okay, so make use of this verb form with the ing. I did some tutoring about a year ago. Okay, I did some translating 2 years ago. I did some interpreting last month, for example. Okay, job well done, everyone.
When I was a student, I did not have that many jobs opportunities, but still I tried to do a little of part-time job. So when I was in Spain, I worked as a dance teacher in a high school, and I also taught English as a private tutor. The dancing experience was fun, but at the same time was difficult and challenging for me because I had to help them create choreographies for these musical school thing that they were doing. And the English teacher thing was a little bit easier because I can just follow the book, and that was okay. And then when I came to Korea, before starting to study Korean, I worked in a restaurant for a month, and that was also harder than expected and more difficult. But yeah, definitely a different experience. So yeah, I enjoyed 3 of them, but I think I will not go back to being a waitress.
Welcome back, everyone. And first of all, thank you to Patricia for helping us out with today's actual story. So let's check out what she mentioned today. Here we go. Now, today we are talking about jobs, right? And she said, when I was a student, I did not have that many job opportunities. I did not have that many job opportunities, meaning I did not have many opportunities to work or to have a certain job. Means she didn't really do many jobs. The next one, I tried to do part-time jobs. Remember, that was our pattern. I tried to do part-time jobs. When I was in Spain, I worked as a dance teacher, and I also taught English as a private tutor, okay? So as a private tutor, she taught English. Okay, that's a wonderful sentence there too, okay? Lots of information. And finally, one last sentence. The dancing experience was fun, okay? But at the same time, difficult and challenging. Yeah, I think challenging things are really wonderful because you can actually learn a lot from them. So just as Patricia did, she talked about her past experience. She talked about what kinds of jobs she had, what the job was like, and how she's trying to do part-time jobs, okay? Make sure that you add some details to your answer in the future when you happen to do an interview in English.
When I was a student, I did not have that many jobs opportunities, but still I tried to do a little of part-time jobs. So when I was in Spain, I worked as a dance teacher in a high school, and I also taught English as a private tutor. The dancing experience was fun, but at the same time was difficult and challenging for me because I had to help them create choreographies for this musical school thing that they were doing. And the English teacher thing was a little bit easier because I can just follow the book, and that was okay. And then when I came to Korea, before starting to study Korean, I worked in a restaurant for a month, and that was also harder than expected and more difficult. But yeah, definitely a different experience. So yeah, I enjoyed 3 of them, but I think I will not go back to being a waitress.
Well, today we talked about jobs, as I did mention earlier in the beginning of our lesson today. That's right, job opportunities. Your occupation, what you do for a living, in other words. So the next time somebody asks you questions about your job, your past jobs, perhaps even your dream job in the future, I'm sure that you have lots more to talk about. Next time we'll talk about stress. Are you stressed out right now? Let's talk about that next time. But in the meantime, come to our homepage, leave us some comments, messages, post up some topics if you have anything interesting in mind. Let us know. Come to www.ebse.co.kr and make sure to look for Actual English with Jennifer. Please do come by to say hello. Okay, that is a wrap for today. I'll catch you again next time. Bye for now.